Hello and welcome to Falcon Blues TV. I'm Callum Davies and I'm back with another match preview for this weekend's game where Everton are going to be hosting Burnley. It's our first night match of the season, Monday the 13th of September. It's an 8 PM kickoff and we're actually on TV for once on Sky Sports. Before we get into it, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, we'd really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So last time out, Everton travelled to Brighton. That was before the dreaded international break, which has obviously brought back some injuries, which we'll touch on later. But I thought that was a really professional performance. 2-0 away from home against a Brighton side that hadn't dropped points in their opening two. So it's a pretty solid result. I thought the defence looked completely different against Brighton. Holgate and Keane actually looked solid, and I think they'll probably stay as the two, despite the fact that Godfrey and Mina do look like they're back. And then obviously Gray and everyone else just looked brilliant again. Calvert-Lewin still scoring, and he also looks fit again. So we couldn't really ask for much else, and we are still one of few unbeaten sides in the Prem. Burnley, on the other hand, they only picked up their first points of the season last time out against Leeds, and they were unlucky to not win the game. I think it was Bamford who scored late on for the Leeds to equalise and steal 2 points. So obviously Burnley haven't had the best of starts, but they always seem to do all right when they come to Goodison. I think Burnley have only won twice at Goodison since 1976, but two of those have come in the last 4 seasons. So I can remember, because I've been to those games, and we always struggle against Burnley. We never comfortably beat them, other than the Boxing Day win a few years ago, 5-1. It's always, especially at Goodison, 1-0, 2-1. You know, to either side really. You'll remember they beat us last season under Ancelotti in around March. McNeil obviously scored a screamer in that game. But Calvert-Lewin scored in that game. Calvert-Lewin scored in all of his last 3 appearances against Burnley, so I suppose it's a good sign that he will be fit for this game, and hopefully can continue that kind of goal scoring form. In terms of injuries, obviously, as I mentioned, Calvert-Lewin is back in training, as is Godfrey, as is Mina, all expected to be available. Coleman was the big doubt because he picked up a hamstring injury on international duty, obviously, our only good right back rather. But Benitez has said that he will be available, so we might have gotten away with that one. But that scare just proves how much we needed a right back and how much of a mistake it was not signing one. Hopefully they'll maybe be able to plug that gap in January, or yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a big ask for Coleman to do a full season at his age, considering he hasn't completed a full season for a long time now. James is unknown. I think Benitez might have ruled him out actually, but we don't really know why. I think it was getting him back to full fitness, but it looked like he was on holiday in the week during the international break. So don't know how much fitness he's doing, but I guess he's just kind of one that we're just going to have to say, if he's here, great. If he's not, who cares? And I think Obama was another one that should be back fit after his dental abscess. So it seems like we've got quite a clean bill of health. Burnley as well have quite a fit general squad. The injuries that they are missing, they probably wouldn't really affect the first team. Kevin Long and Dale Stevens, who obviously used to play for Brighton as well, who we've just beaten, they're both meant to be out. And Connor Roberts, who they signed on deadline day, I think they're going to make a late call on him, I read. And then obviously they have their new signing, Maxwell Cornet from Lyon. He can be a left back, he can be a right winger, so I'm not really sure where he'll play. But Sean Dyche, I saw an interview that said that he is hoping that they'll be able to, you know, have him have some part in the game. So it could be interesting to watch him if he does get on for the last 15 minutes, or if he does manage to start. It'll be interesting to see, because he's a bit of a wild card. We don't really know what to expect with him. Now, in terms of what that means for Everton's starting 11, I think it'll be pretty nailed on. Pickford in goal, and then I don't think he'll change Keane and Holgate, despite Godfrey and Mina being back, because they were so solid against Brighton. Maybe Godfrey might come in for one of the two, but I couldn't tell you which one. I do think he'll just stick with it, or he might even go 3 at the back now that we've got so many centre backs. I was going to say that Godfrey would most likely have filled in at right back, But obviously if Coleman's available, he'll start and Dean will be at left back. You'll have Allen and Decore playing. Gray will probably be on the left, and the right again is a tough one, but it will be continued his fine form for Everton into international duty. I think he got a MVP in one of Nigeria's matches, so I think he'll probably start again. Can't really see a reason to drop him when he's in the form that he's in. And then obviously Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison will both start up front. Richarlison is an interesting one that is available, obviously because Brazil are meant to be playing some games, and I think Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United and City all are missing players for that squad, for that game, because Brazil called them up, but due to our good relations with the Brazilian FA, I think because we let Richarlison go to the Olympics, we're kind of getting away with it. He was allowed an international rest, and it means that he'll be available for us. Burnley, again, will play probably a similar system, 4-4-2, and again, it's a pretty nailed-on squad. Pope, Taylor, Tarkovsky, me, and Lowton as a back four, you'd imagine. Left back's the only spot there that I can see being up for contention. And then a midfield four, of anything, probably Westwood and Cork in midfield. McNeil obviously on the left, who we were linked with all summer and didn't end up getting. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. And Benitez was actually very, he spoke very highly of him in his most recent interview. He said that he hopes he has a bad game, but a good season. So he seems like he might be an admirer. And then obviously you've got Goodmanson, who's got a great left foot, I think it is. I think he cuts inside and whips in. Might be getting them wrong. But either way, he's great delivery. To put it on the head of Ashley Barnes or Chris Wood. Both danger men, and they're both going to cause our centre-backs a lot of issues. Maybe will be the reason why I personally wouldn't play Holgate. I think he's a little bit lightweight at times. And against centre forwards like that, I'd rather see Mina play alongside Keane, where they can just head everything that comes their direction. So in terms of what it means, Burnley are 16th at the moment, 1 point from their opening games. It's not been the best of starts, but you can't really expect a great deal else from Burnley. They're going to be a solid side this season, and they're going to cause us some issues on Monday. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't call the game really, because in the past few seasons it's been so temperamental in terms of which side's won, who's played better, who's been poor. Us on the other hand, we're 6th. We are just level with about 4 other sides, up until 2nd, all on 7 points. And then obviously Spurs sit at the top, the only team to have won all 3 of their games. So a win could see us stay unbeaten, stay near the top of the table. A loss and we'll probably get caught up by a whole lot of teams. Whereas a Burnley, if Burnley are to lose, it could sink them a little bit lower in the table, and it's not really the start that they'll have wanted. So it could be quite an interesting game. It's us high flying early doors, looking to carry on this momentum, whereas Burnley are trying to dig themselves out of a bit of a poor start to the season. Prediction, I would probably lean Everton's way, just because we might have recent form on our side, but obviously momentum's been killed with the international break. I'd probably say it's never really a high scoring, exciting one. 1-0 to Everton, maybe 2-1, but I don't think there'll be many goals in this game. You can let us know in the comments down below what you think the score's going to be, how you think the match will go, and thank you very much for watching. Up the Toffees.